Blood of my blood.
Bone of my bone.
I give you my body.
I give you my spirit.
It all begins with a death, one that sets off a storm. Red Jacob Mackenzie, patriarch of the clan, has drawn his final breath, but instead of clarity, his passing leaves chaos in its wake. No heir named, no certainty of leadership. And though Ellen Mackenzie is his eldest child, she's a woman, barred by custom from stepping into the role she was groomed for. Yet, from the very first scene, you can feel that she's not going to fade into the shadows. We flash back to see Jacob himself, doting on her like no other. He hands her the plaid and brooch reserved for men, signaling to Ellen and to us that she is the true heir of his heart, even if tradition says otherwise. She's his advisor, his equal, the child he trusts most. And now, with him gone, she dares to wear those sacred emblems at his funeral, walking proudly at the head of the procession. Jocasta, her younger sister, seethes with jealousy. She resents Ellen's favoritism, mocks the scandal of their father's death, and cannot bear the way Ellen commands attention. But Ellen will not shrink. Not for Jocasta, not for anyone. The stage is set for conflict. Colum, the eldest son, sickly, diplomatic, forever cautious. Dougal the younger, brawny, hot-blooded, itching for battle. Two brothers, worlds apart, each convinced he is destined to be laird. The gathering will decide, but Ellen knows that whatever happens, her voice must carry weight in a world determined to silence her. Far away, another story quietly unfolds. Young Murtaugh, mischievous, full of restless energy, convinces his cousin Brian Fraser to join him for some excitement at the gathering. Brian resists. After all, as an illegitimate son, his position is fragile. But fate has other plans, and his father, the scheming Lord Lovett, pushes him into the very heart of Mackenzie politics, eager to exploit the chaos. What neither of them expects is that Brian's path will cross Ellen's, and from that moment, sparks will ignite that no clan feud could extinguish. At the gathering, chaos reigns. Dougal thrives in the violence of the field, while Colum carefully maneuvers behind closed doors. The air is thick with rivalries, suitors circling Ellen like vultures. Malcolm Grant, childhood admirer turned determined suitor, presses his claim. Yet Ellen's heart is tugged in another direction. Hiding in the stables, she collides with Brian Fraser. Their banter is light, playful, but there's an undeniable pull. It's love at first sight, though neither realizes the danger. Rival clans destined to clash. As rumors of kidnappings and betrayals swirl, Dougal's temper boils over. He storms into battle, determined to protect Ellen's honor with violence, even as Colum plays the longer game, scheming, bargaining, turning crisis into opportunity. But through it all, Ellen finds herself trapped, pulled between the ambitions of her brothers, the jealousy of her sister, and the dangerous affections of two very different men. And then, suddenly, we're thrust into the 20th century, where Julia and Henry Beauchamp live. A car crash near Craignadown sends them tumbling into the river, and Julia awakens in 1714, a stranger in a brutal land. Captured by the ruthless Lord Lovat, she pleads for mercy. Only Brian shows her kindness, taking lashes on her behalf, his back torn open for daring to protect her. Across time, Henry follows, stumbling into the same past. Separated, the Beauchamps reach for each other through letters hidden in stones, signed simply S.W.A.K., sealed with a kiss. As Julia hides her pregnancy and Henry claws his way through treachery, betrayal, and bloodshed to find her. Their love story runs parallel to Ellen and Brian's, two women, out of place in their own worlds, two men, torn between duty and desire, willing to risk everything for love. Ellen dreams of Brian but is betrothed to Malcolm against her will. Jocasta's bitterness deepens, especially as her own heart falters for Murtaugh, who can never see past Ellen. The Mackenzie sisters find themselves pawns in games larger than themselves. Yet Ellen refuses to be sacrificed quietly. With wit sharper than any blade, she plots, bargains, and schemes, her influence reaching further than her brothers ever expect. Meanwhile, Julia prepares to leave for the festival with Brian, but Porter stops her. Mejri, Lovat's seer, is arriving for her visions, and Julia cannot escape. Meanwhile, Ned, always the political mind, warns Ellen not to ruin her betrothal to Malcolm Grant. If Malcolm rejects her, he reminds her coldly, she may be forced into a far worse match. At the festival, the crowd pulls Ellen into the maidens' circle. Malcolm sweeps her up first, but then Brian steps into the ring. Their eyes meet, the air around them crackling with everything they've denied. But with the clans watching, he shakes his head. He knows this cannot happen in public. Later, Ellen slips away into the shadows where Brian is waiting. Their reunion is desperate, urgent. They fall into each other's arms, confessions tumbling between kisses. And there, away from the fire and the eyes of their clans, they make a sacred vow. Hand-fasted, husband and wife in secret, bound not by politics, but by choice. They seal it with passion, sneaking into the dark to consummate their love. While their love burns bright, a darker prophecy unfolds. At Leathers, Mejri delivers her vision, a child who will unite the clans, a future ruler of Scotland. Lovat seizes upon this, convinced Julia's unborn son is that prophesied boy. Back at Beltane, Ellen stands before Malcolm, who kisses her hand proudly, but her eyes seek only Brian. Jocasta watches Myrta watching Ellen, her bitterness twisting deeper. The clans celebrate in hollow unity, but beneath the spectacle, love and prophecy are tearing everything apart. Ellen and Brian are secretly bound. Julia is trapped in Lovat's grip, and the echoes of this night will ripple through generations.